So Adam Moss, currently trying to make a transition out of footwear, sporting goods sales into a more product management role, product development role, which is one of the reasons that I took the course. I'm taking the course, and I think this will be incredibly beneficial as I kind of go forward and kind of in my career or my future job, kind of looking at the footwear development industry, or the process as a whole, kind of having experience, knowledge of every single aspect of the business, which Paolo and Andre do a great job of doing.
So you come from you were working in New York, fashion side of things.
So I was at Adidas. So I started at Adidas, but almost purely on the sales side. And then after I was at Adidas, I left, went to EMU Australia, which is more on the casual fashion side of it. And so two completely different arenas. A lot of great experience, but two completely different arenas. So I kind of have experience on both ends, kind of the true sport performance side, and then on the fashion side of it, kind of how things change and how consumers look at the products differently, and even from a developmental standpoint, how the products are put together differently, and kind of the manufacturing process for each. Obviously on the fashion side, there's a lot more technology on the performance side, there's a lot more technology in it. And the fashion side is really based on trends and fads and things like that. So it's more, it's really, really interesting how Paolo draws back always constantly on the fashion side of it, kind of that being, kind of the platform for performance moving forward, kind of how things started, just the footwear development in general, just kind of started from the fashion side, and how things are taken from that and applied towards performance, and vice versa, really. So pretty interesting.
So, how'd you learn about the course?
I actually was. I was speaking with an HR rep or a recruiter at Converse. So I moved up to, you have Puma here, you have Converse up in, the Boston area, you have New Balance, and so I really wanted to transition to a product role in one of these performance sporting goods companies, in a like I said, a product development or a product management role. And there wasn't anything open at the time, and I was, going back and forth with a recruiter at Converse, and she was saying, you should look into setting up, and getting connected at the 210 Foundation. I was like, okay, she told me a little bit about the foundation, kind of what they do, and then as I, went on, I saw that as I kind of went deeper into the research, I saw, the Ars Sutoria school and how they held it, and I was like, oh my God, it's perfect. That's the ideal thing, It's kind of is working through the foundation to kind of get a shoe-in, or for no pun intended, kind of and really learning every aspect well, I shouldn't say every aspect, a very intensive course in the whole development process, from creation of the lasts, to the molding for the outsoles, to learn everything really, really fast. And so I'm kind of doing that, and I'm pursuing my master's degree, so it's pretty fair bit of schooling going on right now.
So you got a scholarship to come here?
I did, yeah. So it was a little bit scary, because I knew that a lot of it you kind of have to have sponsorship at a company that you're working at. Like a lot of my classmates, they're currently working in the industry, at different capacities, designers, developers, and now I'm coming from a background where I wanted to transition, so I'm not currently working at one of the footwear companies or footwear brands. So I fill out the form, apply for the scholarship, and I had relationships with people that I worked with, kind of peers and my supervisors at Adidas and at EMU, kind of write recommendations for me to kind of, I could say that I'm passionate about it, but I think that it comes better coming from somebody else, about how passionate and how involved I want to get on the product side of the business, and how I am just with footwear in general.
So, who do you think benefits from a course like this?
I'd be hard pressed to find someone that wouldn't benefit from it. I think, I mean, when you're dealing with public relations and marketing, and at a big brand, but if you have your hands on the product at any point in the process, designers 100%. I mean, with what we're doing right now with the working with the outsoles, do you really need to do a crazy color splash in the outsole? Do you need 5 different colors in the outsole? No, because you learn through kind of listening to Paolo and Andrea that the time and the cost that it takes just to do that, and each color doesn't do something different with regards to the function of the outsole. It's just kind of just aesthetics. That's all it is, and you don't need it. So there's costs that can be cut there as you're kind of doing your research, and a lot of times a designer and I've known several kind of will sit there and they'll do it out and it'll look incredible, but they don't think of kind of what the cost will be on the other side of that. And on the development side, if you're a product manager, you're overseeing the entire process, which is the area that I want to get into, and kind of the career path that I'm trying to get into. You should know everything about it, because you're kind of, for lack of a better word, you're a mini CEO for a product line, and having insight and education in every single aspect of the development process makes you that much better of a manager. You're more empathetic, and you kind of and you know exactly kind of the expectations for everyone in their respective roles that you're kind of working with and managing.
Do you have one or two major takeaways, any epiphany moments that you've had?
A lot of it was, and I think that I have a great business acumen when it comes to the footwear business. And I got that from sales and kind of just my experience in that. But as far as a pure development process, on the other side of it, completely on their side, not dealing with the finished side of it, there's a whole nother layer that I'm just like, my God, I had no clue kind of what goes into fabricating the lasts and creating the lasts, and a lot of that we contribute to what we did at Clark's, and learning the entire process for that and how important it is, because that literally is the foundation for the shoe. I mean, that's where everything's coming from. If there's anything wrong with that, the shoe is not going to work, and you have to take it through the entire process again, and that's expensive, and it was fascinating for me to learn that, and just the technical skill of the people managing that on that end. Just it was pretty incredible. And then the other side, it was kind of an affirmation for me, being like just kind of solidifying. It's like, yes, this is what I want to do. You have to be pretty fascinated and love footwear products to do this. It's very intensive, but you learn so much, and so you kind of have to love shoes to do it. And it's just like comforting, saying, yep, I was right. I love footwear this much, and so it's comforting to me, kind of having that confirmed or affirmed for me. So.